this is one of the best racing games that I have ever played in my entire life. And to be honest, I'm not even exaggerating this thing because I have never ever played a better racing game, or even if you're someone that just loves the cars and if you're a car enthusiast, I think that the Crew Motorfest by Ubisoft is the one game that is going to be satisfying every single needs that a car enthusiast always wants from a video game. Now, before we start off this review, I want to quickly thank Ubisoft for sponsoring this video, for giving me a chance to play the Crew Motorfest a week early before the game even got released, and they gave me the opportunity to go ahead and review this entire game. And Ubisoft has not paid me in any shape or form to say anything good about this game. They honestly did allow me to give my honest opinions about this game and gave me as much time as I wanted to go ahead, explore this game, and take a look at every single thing that is available that the Crew Motorfest has to offer. Now, without any further ado, let's jump right in to the full review of the Crew Motorfest. Now, first of all, I want to start off with how extremely beautiful this game looks, visually stunning in terms of how good the graphics of this game looks. Now, to be honest, I played so many different car racing games as well as some of the simulation games, but I don't think there is any game that actually comes as close to what the Crew Motorfest graphical features are. And to be honest, in some instance, even when I shot some of the clips from the game just to post some of the Instagram stories, I got a lot of comments who were asking me if I actually got to drive these cars in real life. But sometimes it just confuses people to think that maybe it is real life and you're probably driving the car in real life. Now, in terms of graphics though, I honestly give Ubisoft a solid 8 out of 10. Now, of course, there's 2 points minus because I think at least for the consoles, there could have been a better ray tracing technology, because the mirrors in the cars, for some reason, even if I set the graphics setting to the highest resolution settings, for some reason, it seems like the ray tracing doesn't work. So that was the one drawback for me in terms of how realistic the entire thing could have looked if they could have added in some kind of a reflection to the mirrors. But then it's all right. I think it's not a big deal breaker. But apart from this, man, I've got to say this is by far one of the best racing games that I've ever played. And the reason why is because first, this game offers all the different types of cars. From the classic Ferrari collections to the vintage old school muscles and all the way to the new age of fast V12 engines. Whatever you ask for, this game has it all. So if you are someone that actually loves cars and is a huge car enthusiast and just want to try out and test out different cars in a video game, but then at the same time you want to try and feel how these cars actually feel when you drive them in real life. So if you're playing this game on PlayStation 5 especially, trust me, the haptic feedbacks on this game is just incredible. You can literally feel like you're actually holding the steering of each and every vehicle that you drive, from planes to motorbikes to cars to off-roading vehicles, basically everything, and you can actually feel the different types of terrains. And the haptic feedbacks plays all the way from your engine noise to the roaring vibrations of your nitros being activated, and all the way to the rain that is being shattered on your windshield. Dude, this game is just absolutely perfect in terms of what Ubisoft has taken advantage of the new haptic feedback that PlayStation 5 has to offer. Now, I don't think you're going to be getting the same kind of experience when you're playing the game on Xbox Series X or even on the PC versions, because if you ask me though, the PS5 is going to be the #1 platform for me to experience the Crew Motorfest on in the most absolute, beautiful, and the most realistic state that this game can offer. Now, speaking of cars, we of course need to talk about how good the car handling is in this game. Now, comparing this to the new Forza Horizon game and a lot of Need for Speed games that are known to be one of the most top dogs when it comes to racing games, I honestly think that Ubisoft has done a much better job than what Need for Speed, and even comparing it with the Forza games, which is critically acclaimed to be one of the most realistic games out there when it comes to racing at least. But the Crew Motorfest has now enabled a whole new level of how good the cars feel in terms of how realistic the driving is going to be feeling, especially since I played it on the PlayStation 5. It literally felt like I'm driving an actual car. And trust me, I've driven all different types of cars in real life. I even own a BMW X6 M Sport variant, and the way that I feel when I drive that car in real life and then comparing it with what I've seen with the video game here, I mean, obviously you're not going to get an exact comparison because of course it's a video game, but still I kind of just felt like how I can basically feel the weight of the car and how the pickup and all the turbo just launches in. It just feels more real life like compared to all the different racing games that I've played played so far. So in that case, I just have nothing but compliments in order to say how good the driving physics is in the Crew Motorfest. It just feels so good, especially when you're drifting, when you're trying to prove out different stunts. You can actually feel the weight of the car, and especially when you have the car customizations, you have some pro customization options in which you can literally customize each and every single part of your car, from your brakes and how they perform, and what kind of different tire pressures do you guys want to be setting from your front wheel to your back wheel. You can just keep changing all these things. There is a ton of endless customization options for each and every vehicle that you pick in this game. Now, of course, when I say driving feels realistic, I also mean that the driving in this game is going to be a little bit challenging, and it's going to take a little while for you guys to get used to how good the driving system is. Because obviously, if you've played games like Need for Speed and Forza Horizon, you might have just usually gotten used to some of those arcadey feels sometimes, but then when it comes to this game, it actually feels much more realistic, which kind of makes the driving physiques in the entire racing theme much more challenging, especially when you have these real curvy turns when you're trying to get the first position. So you kind of get these anxieties just kicking in, especially when you have these curves, because you don't want to be messing up and it's extremely hard, and you need to get behind the wheels and play the game for a long time for you guys to actually try and master this game as much as possible. And the one thing that I just cannot mention as to how much I love about this game is the first person view in this game, which actually lets you see the entire interior of the car. And trust me, the interiors that Ubisoft has put in to all of these cars, it just looks so good, man. Like, just take a look at the BMW M4 competition and comparing that with all the different cars that I've driven in the game so far, except the one fact that the mirrors don't have reflection. Like I said, the ray tracing doesn't work on these mirrors for some reason. I don't know why it doesn't work. I think Ubisoft should have done a better job in this particular thing. But then apart from that, if you just take a look at how the first person view looks, it just pretty much looks like a body cam footage from a real life car driving. And if you add in some of the filters to the footage that you record as a gameplay, you can actually fool people to think that this might actually be a real life car that you're driving. So that is how good they have done with the interior jobs and each and every minor details, from the temperatures that you can set inside the ACs. You can see some of the most minute details from the air conditions, how much temperatures are inside the car, and each and every details that you would basically see in real life. So that just makes the interiors look much more realistic. And Ubisoft has also made sure that they want to be 100% accurate with how the real life cars looks, from interior to exteriors, from the colors and all this stuff. And like I said, the customization options are pretty much just endless in this game. Now, if I just have to put the entire game in just a nutshell and explain to you guys what are the things that you guys are going to be getting in this entire Crew Motorfest package. Now, the game offers 3 different game modes. The first one being the playlist, which basically allows you to immerse yourself in the most exciting car culture universe, where you have all of these different types of universe, from Japan to the American muscle to the vintage collections, and all the way to some of the most antique cars and different vehicles that you can try out in this game. So the playlist contains all different types of races and different types of challenges that you can basically take part and explore the entire world of the Crew Motorfest. And then comes the second game mode, which is called the live competition, where you're going to be going against some of the most skilled and the stylist players who are pretty much going to be against you as a Motorfest competitions. Now, this game mode is one of my favorite ones. Now, this is pretty much a player versus player game mode, where you basically have to avoid different traps that are set in the world, where you against the other 32 online players who are divided into 8 crews are going to be spawning in different types of vehicles, and you have to first drop in from the airplane. And it's pretty much like a battle royale game where you have to be dropping to this island, and then there's going to be a circle that just keeps moving in, and here you'll basically have to loot in order to get some bonuses and also find some survival items which could benefit in order to repair your vehicles and all that stuff. Now, there's also going to be different game modes where you can actually coordinate with your online friends, where one person is going to be the driver and the other one is going to be the navigator. So the driver is not going to be able to see the map in which he's supposed to go ahead and race, whereas the coordinator is supposed to pretty much just give them the routes on how they're supposed to win the race and stuff. So it's a really fun game mode if you're playing this with friends. And then finally, you have what is called the survival game mode, where you have to destroy other vehicles using your monster trucks or any of the dirt vehicles. So you're just pretty much going one-on-one with other online players. And trust me, all the different parts in your vehicles are going to be breaking down as you keep competing with each other. It just feels absolutely amazing. The different types of playlists that you're going to be finding in this game is just mesmerizing, and and one of my favorite ones is the demolition, where you just go against other players and fight each other off. And then finally comes the unique playgrounds, which is pretty much you just exploring the islands, and while you're exploring the open world, there are going to be some open world challenges for you, which to be honest is not like a very big challenging thingy or something like that. It's just some of these high-speed photo modes, and then you have to pretty much just drive within a given amount of time in one of the most hardest and curviest roads, and you'll have to reach the end point in a given amount of time in order to just complete these challenges. So all of these open world challenges are actually fun when you're just cruising around trying to explore the open world. And speaking of open world, my god, I just have to show you guys on how huge the map size of the Crew Motorfest is compared to any of the Crew games that we have had before, because the amount of locations that you're going to be exploring in this game is just endless, starting from the meadows to the rainforest, all the way to the volcano slopes, to the fields and beaches and dry zones and urban areas and mountains, and just the reach, and the list just keeps going on and on and on. The map pretty much just has a vast variety of almost every single different locations that you guys might possibly imagine in the world. And trust me when I say this, I am not exaggerating it. This is by far one of the best racing games and one of the best car enthusiast games that I've ever got my hands on until now. And I'm super excited to just go ahead and play some more of the Crew Motorfest. And like I said, a very huge thanks to Ubisoft for actually giving me a review copy, for providing me an early access to this game so that I can give you guys my honest opinion. And also, I really appreciate that Ubisoft has given me all kinds of freedom in order to post and say whatever I like about this game. And that is one of the biggest things that I absolutely love when it comes to the freedom of how I can review a game. So when content creators are given more freedom, it just allows them to give you guys better feedbacks as to how this game is, and that also proves as to how confident the developers are. So obviously, if the game is good, they're not going to be giving you any restrictions as to how you should be reviewing the entire game. Now in my final verdict, I'm going to be rating the Crew Motorfest a 9.5 out of 10. So that is going to be my final score. The 5 points I'm removing just for the ray tracing that I really wanted to see in this game, and for some reason I don't know why Ubisoft did not just add that in, especially for the PlayStation 5. PC versions are going to have some better ray tracing technology, of course, but of course if you're planning to play this game, I would honestly recommend you guys to try this out on the PlayStation 5 and not on any other platform. Now, with that being said, lads, I hope you guys did enjoy this full review. Let me know down below in the comments, what do you guys think about this game? Are you getting it? Are you playing the Crew Motorfest? Leave your feedbacks, leave your thoughts down below in the comments. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.